thank you for a new year, and we pray for wisdom today as we make decisions for our county. We know there are many items of points that we need to address, and we pray for that wisdom today. We're thankful for safety for everyone that can make it here, and we're thankful for those in law enforcement, those first responders. We ask you to watch over them and keep them safe this time of year. Add to this prayer, we pray in Christ's name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the first 2026 Commissioners meeting. We'll start off by, we have to come up with a reorganization of the board. Any thoughts, recommendations?
I'll make a motion to keep the board the way it is currently structured.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
3-0. All right, minutes, you've had the minutes presented to you. Any changes, alterations, corrections?
Make a motion to pass the minutes and accept the minutes as written.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. We had a payroll of $332,097.53 for the last of 2025. The first for 26 was $341,689.29. Total claims of $1,076,547.26. Can I get a motion to approve the financials?
Motion to approve the financials.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Sheriff, welcome. Glad to see you back.
Yeah, thanks. Glad to be back. Put this table backwards again. I know, I'm just saying, people with long legs. As of today, there's 58 inmates in jail. 31 of those are pretrial circuit, 17 pretrial superior, 1 DOC, and 0 F6. I don't have any building updates. Still have not gotten, insurance company's still working on getting a claim back from that semi that took out our light pole in the parking lot. This mic's a little hot. So all that's been submitted. They finally are working on it. Hopefully we'll get something here soon, but I got bids all done and ready to go for the repair work.
So it's still leaning in the parking lot?
Oh, it's not there anymore. Just the cement base is sticking out of the ground. We did have to get an electric company come out because it was tripping breakers inside the jail because of the bare wires. So there was a little bit more cost, and we submitted that as well to the insurance company. So I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I have one question, update on AJ's involvement, Chief Deputy's involvement with the animal shelter.
Yeah, I know you contacted me 3-4 weeks ago to ask if he was, I know you had asked about having a representative from the Sheriff's Department on there. I appointed Chief Deputy Campbell to do that. I think there was some miscommunication there where he was not getting involved in the communication because you followed up with me to ask. I followed up with him. He was not. I think that was forwarded to the city. He's since been involved, reviewed the job description and those. I believe they posted it today or yesterday, might be today. He told me that they've involved him in communications and all those type of things moving forward since you asked me about it. I think there were initially was miscommunication and he was not getting the messages and communication from the city, but since then we have.
The agreement is that we're involved. If we're paying 50%, we're involved 50%. So his voice, he's representing the whole county. So just make sure he understands.
Yep. And he's
with what he gets.
And he will continue to be involved in that. So
Keep us abreast.
okay, will do. Thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Witt.
Evening. Currently on any of my projects, I do not have any updates. We're finished and closed out on most of them. The only one that we are holding over till spring is the County Home Road project, and that is to watch for damage to the paint markings that were put down. Some of the paint markings were put down and not in the groove, so we're waiting to see what our plow trucks do to them. And if we tear them up enough, we're gonna have the contractor come back in and redo those before we close the contract. Winter operations wise, we were out the day of the 19th. It was a Friday. We came in at 5 a.m., treated intersections. It was one of those nights where it was, temperatures dropped overnight and the rain changed over before the roads dried out. So we went out and maintained what we had. On the 2nd, we were out as well. We had a little bit of snow, New Year's Eve into New Year's morning, but not really enough for us to scrape with. We're not really set up to treat as NDOT would treat, so I opted to not go out that day, and we went out on Friday on regular hours and treated. Currently, there's not much in the forecast, maybe a little bit Saturday, and right now it's 20%. So in the foreseeable future, I do not see any winter operations, so no overtime at this time. Meridian Road conversion. We've gone out and continued to keep it graded. We cut some relief into where we have material piled up on the shoulders to keep it drained. With the freeze and thaw we're having, you have a winter where it kind of stays level. You don't usually get that, but it seems like we're going to have some fluctuations. So we're prepared for that as the stone settles before we come in to put on the final coats in the spring and finish out the grading once the weather breaks. Equipment facilities. We are currently working with Hoosier Fence. We had some wind damage from last week on Wednesday. The fence itself, the chain link came away from the poles. Me and the crew went out there Monday and did what we could with some wire to keep it from blowing around. In the conversations I've had so far with Hoosier Fence, they are recommending we remove the privacy slats from the fence. It's either that or we're going to be paying for additional posts, probably to hold it in place. They have not got back to me a date when they'll be out to fix it. They're supposed to give me a call this week. I'm watching for that call currently. So it might be something that we look at removing those privacy slats out of it, or at least every other one. That's what's catching the wind. Unfortunate. Currently my team is going through, since last week, it's kind of an interesting last couple weeks. To preface this, I'm not used to everyone, the way time is set up, time has to be used by the end of the year. The personal time, so a lot of guys have been off this last couple weeks, so in order to keep them, the guys that are there, busy, we have done service on the vehicles, painting our plows, inspecting the plows, keeping up with what we have. That way we can continue to use them for longer. And then in front of you, I've given each of you a draft of the uniform and PPE policy. Ted also has a copy electronically.
This is just for the road department.
Yes, sir. So I did meet with the sheriff a couple weeks back. Scott's needs, his team's needs versus our team's needs. After reviewing some information I got from Lisa regarding how employee, that I don't call it a stipend for clothing, we have quite a few different needs in life. We're looking at high vis, steel toe boots, warm clothing to work. Scott's team is more organizational and tactical, I guess is a way of putting it. So their type of clothing would not meet what we're after. Yes, they'd have vests for traffic control, that kind of thing.
I don't know that they all got to be combined, but I think what we're looking for is a standard of who needs what, and then where do we get it, and what's the limit, and what does it fall under? Because we have what would be considered personal clothing that gets expensed, and that's what we're trying to get away from, is what do you need to do the function of the job, not what is the best looking outfit for the day.
Correct. So that's where we are working to rent the jeans, pants, and the basic Class 3 t-shirt cover that type of scenario. And then as you go through under high-vis apparel, that's where if they want to get anything other that is Class 3, whatever type of hoodie. Some guys like pullover hoodies, some guys like zip-up hoodies. Don't care which. It could, just as long as it's Class 3 and that falls to an ANSI standard. Same way with the boots. On protective footwear, as long as it's at least 5 inches high and meets the steel toe standards and or composite toe. I did not realize, and a lot of it was taken care of, I guess, for me on my previous job, that there's a difference between what can be taxed and what is non-taxable in that regard. So that's where going with the ANSI standards, the steel toe boots, and then the insulated clothing such as Carhartt's, burn apparel, and a solid color. That's where that falls into place. Yes, talking to my team, they have gone through in the past and gotten thermals, base layers, socks, but when you go into the IRS standards, that's all taxable. So that kind of gets into that, I don't know if I call it gray area, everyday clothing. So I've said no to that.
So you'll be the gatekeeper for this stand?
Correct.
You have like a boot truck mobile come to you visit, or just send them out?
So currently, for the boots, that we send them out, we've kind of started with Parlor City Trophy, because they can put our logo on stuff, and they actually had a list of stuff that is Class 3 and insulated Carhartt that we kind of put into a catalog that the guys can use, and then would be just direct reimbursement through. That way we're not going through that process, kind of help take that off of those possibilities of getting the wrong type of clothing out of play. And then we do not have that yet, Blake, but the Red Wing store up in Fort Wayne does do that for the state. I would be interested in trying to find a boot supplier. That way they could say, hey, this meets, this doesn't meet.
I know there's an Amish guy in Leo, Great Bull area, and Workers World in Butler.
Mm-hmm.
There's different ones.
But-
Put some feelers out.
Can
It'd
do.
be nice to say, hey, you get all your apparel from this place, here's your selection, here's the cost. That way we grouping the cost and keep our costs low while still giving them the coverage they need.
I need to go get a new jacket, so I guess I'll go take a drive and make some new friends.
Be the easiest way to do it. That way they're not, you know, because I run businesses and I can say, hey, I need an ANSI boot. Well, I can get a $50 boot, or I can get a $800 boot. Need to have something in between saying, here's the ones that we approve, here's the ones that meet the standard, here's the coats that meet the standard. Maybe take some of the selection out so there is no question when it comes to the auditor about, you know, why has Joe got a Hawaiian shirt on that has the logo on there, right?
Yep, we can do that. The only other couple things I added into this that we haven't necessarily talked about is eye protection and gloves. And then there is a section on chaps for when you're chainsawing. Previous experience, I've had 2 individuals in my stead get injured from chainsawing. So I have copied those, borrowed those from another agency. Looking at it from 2 aspects. 1, county carries amount of liability if we're not out there in the right equipment. And 2, my team will go home at the end of the night.
I recommend checks.
Last item I have, I've gone and done 5 interviews for mechanics. Out of my interviews, I found to get, I think, what we need in order to maintain the county fleet. I've also, I did not bring it with me, I've got a draft on my computer of a lead mechanic position, commensurate with what I'm seeing pay-wise to get someone into that, with that skill level. So that'll be a conversation that I'd like to further have.
Just need to do that cost analysis between what we spend with local service providers and what we can save, and then evaluate that against what the salary is.
Yep, Lisa got me that, and I need to go through and understand what was buying, like just buying the tires, and what was the actual labor in that. So
Because we'll still have the material costs, we just won't have the labor costs.
Correct. That's what I have. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bud.
You have right away?
I didn't hit my knees, Scott. I didn't have any problem with my knees.
Before you begin, Nate,
Sure.
we have 5 area plan commission right-of-ways located at 450 East Zoggen West, 200 South Greer Inc., 700 South The Junk Family, 450 East R. Duback, and 450 East K. Duback. Ask for approval of the 5 rights-of-way for distribution to area plan.
I will make a motion to accept the right-of-ways as presented.
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. All right, Mr. Whitaker.
All right, top of the agenda this evening is the PE services contract for Bridge 72. This is standard NDOT boilerplate as far as the format. This is a contract with Engineering Resources for the preliminary engineering phase of Bridge 72. This has been reviewed and vetted by NDOT, so I'm recommending approval and signatures this evening.
I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
I had submitted a while back a draft for some new permit forms, also with new and updated fee structures for different types of work being done within the right-of-way. I trust that you all have had a chance to review that. I know Ted has drafted an ordinance.
I did draft an ordinance due to an error in delivery in the emails that went to you, but it did not go to the commissioner group. So the commissioners have not seen the amended ordinance.
Okay.
There is an amended ordinance that is prepared that amends prior ordinance 2022-29. The only difference would be for the approval of the fee schedule suggested by Nate at the last meeting. It simply incorporates that, and it amends, again, ordinance 2022-29 only in regard to the fee schedule. And I have that. I don't have multiple copies, but I'm glad to submit that to the commissioners for a review today, or we can table it, and I apologize, Nate, for, we didn't realize until a couple minutes before the meeting that it went to a specific commissioner inbox and not to the commissioner group.
Okay, no problem.
Does that fee cover Wi-Fi, fiber optic, all those things?
Yes, yeah. The very last page of the ordinance has the schedule of fees and kind of what types of work that it's associated with. And there's also bonding, which we had talked about at the last meeting as well.
It literally simply adopts the proposed form that our county engineer had proposed at the last meeting.
And it secures this, that if they run into pipes or cut things or where's the bond amount at? Does it say that on here?
Yeah, so as you look down from the top, there's kind of 3 columns. You've got permit type, permit fee, and then permit bond.
10,000.
And the fees and the bonds are, it's a working PDF. So as you enter in your quantities when you submit the application, it will calculate your fee and your bond.
It's like on a road cut. We get a lot of that that's done by the farmers.
So depending on what it is, if there is mutual benefit, I would still entertain waiving their fees for a road cut. We've done that in the past where, you know, they're crossing with a private tile or something of that nature, and, you know, we ask to put ditch inlets in. So I think that there will still be some of that, but
A waive with prior approval, not a waive after the fact that we cut the road and tiles in and open
correct,
the way. I just-
correct, yeah,
That's what we want to avoid.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think we need to make that public, that as long as you get pre-approval, there might be situations where we can waive those fees, but if you do it after the fact, like on the road cut, it's a $20,000 bond. So if I'm Jeff the farmer and I cut through the road and I didn't ask you, I gotta come up with a $20,000 bond.
And as far as waiving the fees, I guess since I've been here, any of those discussions have been exactly that. They've been discussions where someone's called in and said, hey, you know, this is what we're looking at doing. And some of them Jared has brought to my attention because he knows a lot of the farmers and hears about, you know, hey, they're gonna be running some tile. So he'll bring it to my attention and say, you know, hey, they're wondering if you might waive the road cut permit fee. So we still fill out all the paperwork. We just don't typically charge for that.
I like it. You guys wanna look at it now, or you wanna,
Totally up to you. We can address it next meeting, or?
it's just the fee schedule that's changed, so.
Right.
So, to be clear, the actual permit form and language is different than what it is now. I mean, it is an entire different form. I think the ordinance that Ted referenced simply adopts the fees that are on here, but the actual permitting language. So if you guys do want to read through that, it is what I sent you before the holidays, though. Nothing's changed from that point.
The form itself and the permitting process can be conducted by the engineer without an ordinance. Any fees for services have to be implemented with an ordinance. So we need to update that ordinance if we want to incur or to charge the public these fees for the reasonable administrative costs of our services we're providing.
So if we decide to do a motion to be on the ordinance,
Well, this is the updated ordinance, correct?
Great.
Yeah, well, then I'll make the motion to approve the updated ordinance and the schedule of fees.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Dash.
-01, number 1.
Thank you, Dee.
Also regarding permits, and this is just, since I have it listed on my agenda, I had also drafted an application to close or restrict a roadway in Wells County because currently we have nothing for some random reason to close a road. I mean, I understand the utilities permit to install their facilities, right? And oftentimes they have flaggers, but occasionally, you know, last year we had the power company that was closing the road and there was really no awareness of that. I was getting phone calls from the public because nobody knew that the power company was gonna be out there closing the road. They just kinda decided to do it. So this is kind of in an effort to address that. It'll force them to let us know why they need to close the road. Do you have a maintenance of traffic plan? You know, how are you planning on handling this while you have it closed? And then listing what days of the week, what times a day it'll be closed, things of that nature, so that at least we're aware. If somebody calls in and complain about it, at least we know what's going on.
Right, we'll give notice that it's gonna be closed, right?
Yep. Last things, just project update. Not a lot of progress through the holidays and such, but Bridge 54 on 600 West over the Salamone River, they're just continuing to process and rubbleize the existing portions of the old structure. So you can see they're working on breaking that up and hauling that off for disposal. The H piles have been delivered, and I talked with the foreman late last week, and he's hoping to start getting some sheet piling in the ground so that they can start excavating for the foundation and start driving piling in the next couple weeks. That's all weather dependent, you know, if it stays cold and dry, the river stays down, but, you know, we've got some warmer, wet weather moving in here, so it's all gonna be a little bit dependent on river flow. But his plan right now is if they have optimum conditions while they have it, to go ahead and start driving and working possibly 6 days a week, 10 hours a day to try to get all the foundation work, get it up and above water level.
That'd be great.
So that's all I've got.
All right, thanks, Nate.
Thanks,
Thank
Nate.
Mr. Pastore. How are you?
Good. Well, I hope to be quick here, guys. I'm here on behalf of the Opioid Settlement Committee, hoping maybe just to raise a little awareness. We had a little bit of a slip up in our grants process. We had an incorrect email address listed on one of the two places the form could be found. We learned some people submitted the grant to the wrong email address then. We were able to track some of those down, but there was about a 15-day window in which we have no idea if people might have submitted requests. And so hoping to kind of get the word out here a little bit that if you have not heard back from the Opioid Settlement Committee, that to resubmit to the correct address, which is on there now. I do think that we've got most of that settled out. All the people that we submitted in the first wave before the committee was formed have resubmitted. So I think we've got most of that handled, but we did go ahead and extend the deadline until the end of this month, just to allow a little bit more time to hopefully get all those submissions in and give everyone a fair opportunity to submit.
Getting a lot of submissions,
I believe we have 11 as of right now, so yep.
probably some of the same ones we heard from.
I think everyone that submitted to the commissioners prior to the forming of the committee have resubmitted now, and then 4 or 5 others, yeah. And I've been contacted with some questions from a few other agencies as well, so I believe there'll be some more still.
Very good. Steve, when is our next meeting in February?
February 4th.
Perfect.
That's really all I had, unless you guys have any other questions for me, or?
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Hake. First update.
All right, I've got just kind of like a bullet point of things, so stop me at any time if you have any questions about any of them. We currently have 19 people on home detention, which is a pretty average number. Mind you, I've been there since the middle of August, so just about 5 months now. Initially, we adjusted our user fees. We were charging just a flat $15.50 per day. We raised that $4 for people who had an additional alcohol unit. So before we were just kind of covering that cost, now it's an additional charge. One of the other things that we did was we implemented a $100 transfer fee for cases that were being transferred out of county. We switched the way that we were doing our drug screens to, again, these are all kind of cost things to save on some costs. There's still the same effectiveness of drug screens. We were able to use, because of the reduction in staff over the whole last year, there was a ton of grant funds left over. And we worked with DOC to pay wages and other things with those grant funds instead of using our project income, our county general, those kinds of things. I don't really have the exact amount, like, that we were able to use, but we used as much as we could, and so that really did help our project income increase for the year of 2025. The staff is no longer using community corrections vehicles for personal use. They're only being used for the home visits. So that's saving on gas and then the reimbursement for the personal mileage that was being used. Currently, we only have 2 phones on our phone plan. We had jetpacks on there too, so those were taken off. So really just a lot of ways that we've cut down
Streamlined
a lot of things that weren't necessarily needed. So that's kind of where we saved in fees. And I did just want to report at the end of 2024, the project income balance was 62,845. The end of this year is 78,991. So again, a lot of that is from using the grant, but you know, some of that I know is from the increase in fees and those kinds of things too. And something else that is, we had spent from our project income, from our budget, 112,000 and some change, and we collected 115,000 in fees. So we really collected more than what we spent there. So that was good to see. On another note, you know, community corrections is heavily dependent on DOC and their requirements and things like that. So we've been making a lot of changes in the office as far as their requirements. So we're doing a lot more case planning, which is more goal-oriented. We, with grant money, have purchased some journals for the clients that are things that we're working on with them. But again, those are just things that DOC really likes to see. We've been working very well with our program director from DOC. You know, she's the one that her and her team kind of go through the grant applications and do those kinds of things. And so I've been communicating with her a lot, like, okay, I know we got cut a lot in this past year, so how can we avoid that? And, you know, she understands there's a reduction in staff and that kind of stuff. So working with her, she'll be coming later on this month and we'll get that going. And then I think we definitely are building a very good relationship with probation, a lot of communication and things like that, so.
So the fees are now all covered by the, I don't know what we call them, the perpetrators, the people that are incarcerated or need the
The end of this
services?
report, yes. I mean, it's not always probably gonna be, you know, month to month, it might not always be that, but as the total year, it was that way, yes, so, and that's the goal. I mean, if we can continue to collect the fees, yes.
Do the crime, you gotta pay the fees to be covered by that thing.
Yep,
And then it's nice to sit here, and I know you're new into the job, this is your first overview of what's going on, but getting rid of the cars, taking away some of the expenses, I mean, as taxpayers, you don't hear that very often. It's usually, hey, I need more of this, or I need more of that, and oftentimes justified, but thanks for stepping up and saying, hey, we've got some waste, we've got some excessive spending and pulling that back. I think we owe you some help on 2 cars yet.
yeah,
That isn't quite as easy as what we
it's
thought.
okay.
But,
They're just sitting out there.
you know, it is nice to see that we use it and we're frugal with the taxpayers' money, so thank you.
Yep, thank you. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Lotzenheiser.
Good evening. Hello. Hello. So, yeah, back here in regards to the proposed amendment to the Wells County zoning ordinance in regards to solar activity. So with that, we kind of left it, if there was anything in regards to, from the commissioners, wanted us to talk more about in regards to the proposed amendments that were sent to you with the do pass recommendation by a 6-4 vote.
Any thoughts or concerns, viewpoints, discussion?
Was there any consideration by the Area Plan Commission for any economic development agreements that Wells County had entered into in regard to solar projects?
Yeah, so we did not opt to put any language or exception towards that, and so that The ordinance also didn't entail a moratorium or ban. So at that point, we moved away from that discussion and moved towards just the amendment to specifically to the large solar development plan requirements.
Thank you.
Did Paddlefish pull their EDA?
You would know more than I do on that.
Yeah, that would not be something that the Area Plan Commission would have been notified.
Do we have an official, did they talked about pulling it out? Did they, we don't know, who would?
I haven't received any notice of termination by Paddlefish that they were terminating the economic development agreement entered into in 2021, 2022.
Explain make a modification to it. It's in your packet to us.
Oh, in regards to the.
Body can accept it
Yeah, so.
as written, make a modification to it, or reject it.
Yeah, so.
Describe, make a modification, please.
So in the process, Indiana Code allows the legislative body to make a proposed modification. You do such in writing back to the Plan Commission. The Plan Commission then has 45 days to have a hearing to make a statement one way or other on that. We agree to it, and we send it off to the other jurisdictions, and also then that would be this path forward if we have any questions on that end. So it's, that end of it is really on the board. If there is an amendment that you would want to see, then that is the tool that would be used for that. And the same thing with the rejection. Both go through that similar process where we would go back and see what we can do to put something together that you would want to improve.
So if you remember the idea, I think it was Councilman Harnish had brought it to us about a band and had brought a proposal. We pushed it off to, not pushed it off, but send it over to APC because that's where the reviews are made, and said, hey, let's draw a line in the sand. Are we gonna do this? Are we not gonna do it? Let's actually put something around it. So this is what they came back as, is what their recommendation is. Because I believe the first time it went through, it was a do not approve solar, and we went almost through the 90-day period, and then Paddlefish pulled their request, so we never made it.
I mean, it's specifically the P1 overlay district was actually denied based on lack of action. So an understanding of that process. So we gave a do not pass recommendation. That specific recommendation was never decided on by the board by vote. So 90 days later, it was denied as recommended by the Plan Commission.
Did it die, or did they pull their
They
petition?
cannot pull it once
they
it's into your part, yes.
They indicated in a public meeting, however, that they did not request that the Board of Commissioners rule. So
Yes.
the lack of action,
Yep.
Mr. Lotson is exactly correct. The only nuance is Paddlefish asked us not to vote on, asked the Board of Commissioners not to vote, which then allowed it to be denied,
Yep.
or at least to approve the denial from the Area Plan Commission in regard to that overlay. This obviously is an amendment to the actual zoning ordinance, so it's here in a little bit different, it's here in a considerably different status than the actual application by
Correct.
Paddlefish.
Yeah, these are separate things from each other.
Gotcha.
So at this point, if there's any questions in regards to the amendments, I'm glad to talk to you about that. Otherwise, we do have a do pass recommendation from the board. I know it is not unanimous, which in the past we brought things to you that way, but that is where it sat. And board members that had opinions on a few of the items in it, that would make them lean one way or the other.
Any discussion or?
Is there any of the sections you want to go back over, or? Glad to do that.
think I'd like some more time to discuss the modification option.
Okay. Yeah, and the specific to that, the Indiana Code section just states that you would put a written list of modifications, and then present that at the time you would vote that way, and then we would start our process. So,
Yeah, this has been going on since 22, I think, if I'm
Then-
accurate there, and I'd like to do it once and do it right
So
and be done.
we have modifications, and they have to be given to you by what date?
What-
when you
what-
decide on it,
Yeah,
yes.
the Board of Commissioners would need to take a vote to approve modifications to send back to the Area Plan Commission. So we would have to have those written modifications for your approval. You would not, or maybe I should say, you should not say, we want to change A, B, and C. Ted, as county attorney, put that together. We should have that prepared for you to vote on either at the next meeting or a subsequent meeting. And that's what you would vote on. You would approve as the Board of Commissioners modifications for the Area Plan Commission to consider as part of the amendment to the ordinance.
And that starts for the 45-day?
Yeah, that's
I heard
when our
that correct.
45 days would start.
Correct.
Where we have to have an answer, a yay, modify, reject within 90 days of December.
Yes, correct. Yeah, you have 90 days from the date that we send it to you for consideration to make that action
I just
one way
need
or
that
the other.
clarification.
Yep,
And that date when it was sent to us was actually December 5, not the meeting date of December 15.
1 to basically March 5th,
yes.
give or take.
Yep.
I mean, that clears up everything for me, so.
Okay. Yeah, and so at that point, know when you want us to come back? Or if you have any questions that we can help to answer?
So you're looking for a modification, is that what I'm hearing?
I would like to explore that.
I would
mean,
like to
We have that
explore
option.
it. I'm not saying, I'm not for reject it, modify it. I would just like to see more definition, because the last meeting we had, it was 20 acres of panel, like, and I wanted to nail that down.
Sure.
And I think it could be on an 80-acre parcel, it can be on a 22-acre parcel.
My consideration is it's went back and forth. We've tied up the APC for years. We've left the public hanging for years. That I think at some point we need a resolution. We need to either accept it and move on, or, you know, I'm not sure, and this isn't meant rude to the APC, but I'm not sure what the validity of the APC is if they come with a recommendation and we bat it back. Again,
It is part of the process, so we're well aware of how this works. That we have, multiple legislative bodies that we're going to be presenting this ordinance to. And both yourselves and the city of Bluffton have both discussed that there might be modifications they would want to look at, so,
I'd rather have it right than,
yeah.
quick.
you know,
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
get in a hurry and screw it up and have to mess around another 2 years or 4 years.
I just think any discussion should be limited from here going forward for us.
Yeah.
That we decide.
So can we have modifications prior to the next meeting so we can vote on the modifications if we have any? So that we get the process rolling, or is there a date that you guys would like to?
This is like this is a big thing to chew on. I mean, obviously from the timetable it's taken already.
Yeah.
And every time I think I understand it completely, I get 5 phone calls that change my mind.
And
So,
is this,
one thing's pretty clear, no
Something
matter what decision we make,
executive
somebody's gonna be upset about it.
oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, what,
Can this process be done in executive session?
let me consider how that might fall into an executive session, or whether or not there's something that can be done in an attorney-client situation, because obviously, I would hope that you would ask me to assist you in revising the ordinance as presented by the APC, or at least to provide that list in a fashion where the counsel for the APC could digest it as well.
Totally.
Thanks for all the work you
All
do
right,
on this.
yep, no, I appreciate it. Yeah. Just advise when you want us to come back and we'll.
I'll be calling.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks.
Appreciate it
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you.
I think we're a lot closer.
All right.
All right, monthly reports
In your stack,
from SAC, miscellaneous.
just start with the Commission and Visitors Commission agreements. There's two of them.
So the one is I believe the lease for the office, right?
Can I help?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay.
Yep.
The Wells County Convention and Visitors Commission had identified to them by the State Board of Accounts a couple questions about their prior operations and the method that they did. As a result, they need to hire an independent contractor in order to carry out the duties and administrative functions of the commission, and they need to have a specific space. So the first agreement is a sublease agreement for a particular office space. They will continue to utilize one office and office equipment within the office of the Wells County Chamber. The Wells County Chamber has agreed to continue to host and allow the Convention and Visitors Commission to lease that space. My understanding is that there were extensive negotiations between the president and the board of the Convention and Visitors Commission, along with the chief administrator or executive of the chamber, to come up with this lease. It's a flat rate of $600 per month. It's for a period of 12 months with an idea that either party can terminate with 90 days written notice. It's not the intention of either party to terminate it with notice at this time, but things happen during the year. So the first agreement is for a sublease agreement of office space for a period of 12 months.
Which is the space plus utilities.
It is a flat rate. It does not include utility. Utilities will not be billed to the commission. It is just a rate of $600 per month.
What is the line that says leaseor shall pay all regular charges for all utilities and costs for the use of this premises?
Yeah, the lessor, of course, is the landlord, and the landlord is going to pay all those costs. There's no cost shifted to the tenant or the lessee, which is our commission.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve the contract and allow the president of the commissioners to sign the agreement.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think at some point it'd be nice, we have space that we give out to other local entities, and yet we rent space for our people. And we're space constrained already that, I think we go for a year, but I would say this pulls into EDC and in somewhere that we already own and not pay rent.
The other agreement that's presented to the Board of Commissioners is an independent contractor agreement for the use of actually an employee, an independent contractor. The independent contractor will be paid $28 per hour. She will track her time. She will submit her invoices in time to the auditor. The auditor will then pay that. This has been negotiated again by the president of the Convention and Visitors Commission with the independent contractor in order to provide the necessary administrative services needed for the Convention and Visitors Commission.
It's an easy one. I think Audrey's done a great job and kept that thing going.
Motion to allow the president to sign the agreement.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Easy.
Thank you.
Got some board appointees.
I do. So you have your normal boards that the commissioners sit on. You have Economic Development, E911 Advisory, EMA Board, and EMS Board. Jeff is currently on the Economic Development Board. Mike Vanover is on the E911 and EMA Board, and Blake Gerber is on the EMS Board. And then we also have an application for medical doctor for the Health Department Board, which you have a vacancy. And you also have an application for the Cemetery Board, which one of those board members resigned, so that would be to fulfill the current term
Finding a doctor is like looking for a unicorn.
I know.
We got one. Any recommendations or any wants to change the boards that we sit on, or is everybody still good with the board seats they have?
I'd like to make a motion to leave the boards and the assignments as they are right now.
I agree, and I'll second that.
All in favor?
Right?
3-0. And then the two appointees, one for the health board, the doctor for the health board, and then Mr. Gillum for the cemetery board.
Make a motion to accept those two nominees and their willingness to serve.
Second that motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
And then we have the annual certification of elected officials for regarding compliance with county contract disclosure policies.
You want a copy or let me sign that one?
Yes.
Make a motion to accept the annual certification.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
And then we have the 2026 interloop local contract on wages. This is with the commissioners and council and the solid waste management district. And Wells County pays the wages and benefits for the solid waste district, and then the solid waste district reimburses the county back June and December.
Yeah, we've entered into an agreement like this for the last few years. It was modified simply to comply with our own policies about the new statute on how contracts were supposed to be entered into. So we just cleaned it up, put it into a proper form to move forward, but it's the same contracts we've had.
I'll make a motion to accept this updated interlocal contract on wages 2026.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're done?
There, want to take it out of custodian job description?
So, I informed you guys that I got a call from Bobby Studebaker. Her last day will be February 6th. And then just made sure that we had a posting going up. I know we have some people that, are in those positions now, but I think we have to post it and get it up for everybody to view and have the opportunity to look at. So Lisa, and I'm assuming Bobby put this together, or you did it? Lisa put together a job description that we'd like for review and get posted.
Yeah, this is good. I mean,
Do you like
anybody that's currently employed can apply for it, and, yeah, we've got some that have been around a while, and, you know, we got an old building that has some special needs in it, so. But I think you covered some of the points that address that, so.
Bobby's done a really great job for us over the years. I think this has been planned for a while for her to retire, correct?
Do we need to put in there the ADA compliance piece that she has right now? ADA coordinator?
That's a separate appointment. She simply happened to be our appointee. So the commissioners will have to consider a new appointee, whether that person is the custodian. And I think we did that based upon Bobby's historic and institutional knowledge about the buildings owned by Wells County. So I think that, I don't know that it needs to be as part of the custodian job application. It would be a separate appointment.
Just needs to be on the next agenda of who takes that over.
Or after we do the interviews and see if they could be part of the interview process.
So we're good with this being posted?
I'm good.
Oh, I think so. I'm good with being posted.
Can Roger,
Or just posted?
whatever you,
What do we usually do? We usually have it,
Yeah.
let's do both, let's be consistent.
yeah, just do them both, that'd be fine.
And would it be worth mentioning or putting out there that we'll be looking for an ADA coordinator also, and that way we have that option?
Yes. Obviously, the ADA coordinator has been an employee of Wells County in the past. probably should continue to be an employee of Wells County for somebody hands-on, boots on the ground. And that could be a request. I'm trying to think of the employee use fund and things like that, that there are other employees who volunteer to be a participant on those. So,
The 3 employees, like,
yeah, the sick bank was one idea, I'm sorry, but this should be posted internally and ask if anybody has any interest in being the ADA coordinator, taking over that role from Bobby.
So do we need a motion to accept this, or are we just going to?
I think we just give the okay to post it. Yeah.
There's no motion or things to vote on at this time.
Okay. Anything else? Anything from the audience? Yeah, I got one behind you that raised their hand. The piece of paper, need you to state your name and sign this paper. I am Chaplain Neil Ainsley. I'm here this evening to represent the Mental Health Association of Wells County, which operates a behavioral and recovery resources office here in the Annex building. Get this jotted down real quick for you. So, here for 3 things. One is to express gratitude to the commissioners for letting us utilize the space in Suite 100 for the Mental Health Association and their activities. It has been a great help. Through indirect communications, which eventually we were able to establish direct communications over the phone, we've been requested to move, and our understanding is there's an office that's expanding, and due to space constraints in the building, our space needs to be returned back to the county so that the county operations can be taken care of. It's our understanding that we received from the health department that the space that we currently occupy is going to be used for health department storage. And the second point that I have is seeing if there could be a possibility to request sharing that space. The Wells County Mental Health Association in the last several years, especially since COVID, hasn't been as active, but it has been active, but just not as visible as it has in the past. And we're in the process of rebuilding the board, especially including mental health guidance from Park Center, and also Renovate services. And we ourselves are not licensed counselors. We are not psychiatrists. We are not doctors, but we are people that are interested in the well-being of our community with mental health. As I've tried to research the direction that as the group is being rebuilt, which way we should go, I've had people say, well, we have no mental health support in the community. And I've had other people say, we have great mental health support in the community. And what I've been able to discern is that both are right depending upon who and what you know and the resources. If you're connected with family-centered services, then you will be connected to good mental health resources. If you're a man coming out of jail and you have lost everything and you have to go to the homeless shelter that I direct, then you don't know where mental health resources are at. Part of my duty as director there is to guide people so that they can connect, so that they can have some stability.
right now, as we're rebuilding, we're planning on 4 classes for Wells County. They will be provided by Mental Health America of Northeast Indiana. And we're in the process of coordinating with them so we can get dates and times, and we will hold those over at the library. Those courses will be question, persuade, refer, 3 simple steps anyone can learn to help save a life from suicide. I have been certified as a QPR trainer back in 2017, and then I've re-upped as just a person taking the class about 2 years ago when it was provided by Family Centered Service. Another one is stigma and mental health. Another one is navigating a mental health crisis. And the last one, youth and adult mental health first aid. The board and the advisors, this is a direction where we're planning on requesting these classes. There used to be a different structure for Mental Health America. And I believe right now that having everything at this level handled by Mental Health America of Northeast Indiana is more prudent, because many of the grant providers are more likely to provide grant that will serve multiple counties and just us as an individual county. But at the same time, we feel that we can be boots on the ground in the community, and especially focusing in the grief loss and getting people connected to resources, whether it's literature or actual offices for when a spouse has passed away or a child. There's much grief for that. And then also suicide prevention. We're trying to work up to the point where we can have discussions with the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department to have kind of a backup group that their crisis intervention officers can call upon if they find that a situation is de-escalated, but yet the person is needing some interaction and resources to be able to navigate their next steps in helping recover from the suicidal thoughts. So, so my question for the number 2 point, I gave you a little extra background, probably more than you wanted, especially late at night. Would it be possible that we could share space with one of the other offices?
I think that summary review, I'm the one that probably initiated this or did initiate this of we are space constrained. We're renting facilities now. We don't have enough space. I don't know that the comment that it's going to be used for storage is right. We have plenty of storage spaces. We don't have enough people spaces. We don't have enough meeting spaces. We have this room that is overused and we don't have time, so we're looking for anything. So I asked Ted to look at what we had and what you're affiliated with, and part of what came back is it's great that you're a volunteer group, but we have Parkview and some other doctor-related accessible services in the county. And again, we don't want to displace you where you can't conduct, but we don't have room in our facility to just give it out rent-free anymore. So we're trying to figure out how we consolidate. So a little bit of the background there. I don't know if Ted, if you have any comments with that. Yeah. It's not a, hey, we don't think you're doing good work, or hey, we don't want you involved. It's we're running out of space. And do we go out and rent space while we're giving space away? I mean, we just talked about that with tourism. You know, we're spending money we don't need, and you know, we have space upstairs that it makes sense, but we have the city inspector that sits next to APC, which is smart, but it's for free. And then we rent space. We rent space for EDC. We rent space for tourism, and we're just trying to consolidate and use the room we got. So it's nothing malice about it.
Where would you guys go without this space? You have a plan?
We don't know at this point because we're rebuilding our donation base. And for us to be able to provide services and to pay for rent would be prohibitive in the short term. So,
Give us some time for
Yeah.
the three of us to talk, and let's see what we can try to find out.
okay.
Try to help you out. We're in-
And
Fair, that's fair.
Yeah.
the third thing, if we're unable to squeeze in somewhere, and we can suck in our guts and squeeze in, we would like to be able to continue the relationship that is shown on the county webpage as being another means of communication.
Is it on there currently, you say?
It is.
Okay, yeah, I would.
It's under Rehabilitation and Recovery Resource Center. So,
Ted, can you check that page out and just make sure, whatever's on there represents what the county's willing or covered to offer?
Sure, I'd be glad to take a look at it. We may want to have Roger, our IT officer, look at it as well to make sure and confirm. Not that I'm in any way
No, you're
doubting,
fine.
Neil. I was unaware of that. So, yeah.
and then the telephone number that's associated with that, if we can't squeeze in to one of the buildings, would we be able to port that out to like a cell phone, or is that something that you guys have? That's a Roger question again, I believe.
I'm positive we can port that out somehow and keep it connected somehow, so. Give us till next meeting to
Okay.
discuss what we can
We
do.
will be here, and I thank you for your time. And Ted has my contact information. If you have any questions, he can get a hold of me.
Yep.
And
Did you say pastor?
I keep
Chaplain?
confusing you. I'm functioning as a chaplain in this capacity.
I just didn't want to not give you the
you're fine.
appropriate title that you deserve. Neil, anyway, had reached
Yeah.
out a couple weeks ago, and we've had a very pleasant conversation, so I appreciate the effort and the outreach. I just want to remind everybody, our letter indicated that they had until February 1 to vacate the premises. So the good news is with him coming here, we have time to consider these things before any self-imposed deadline that we placed on it. But I think we can all work and continue to work with this organization to provide a proper landing space. So, thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes?
Neil's given you a very good history of the Mental Health Association. We've been here like 60 years. I personally like 50. I cannot believe that you think that because there's Park Center and all the hospitals around, which we deal with,
Thank you for speaking up, and, you know, I know we're in a major mental health crisis in this country, and we don't have enough people to come close to covering it. There are people in the court system that are sent out to get counseling and can't do it for 6 months, which is absolutely ridiculous. But we don't have the people. So I think that, I mean, I know both of these commissioners really well, and I can tell you that there isn't a person up here that doesn't care. I think that sometimes things can be said that maybe aren't holding the gravity of the situation at hand like it should, but I know that the heart is different. So what I will say is that we need time, but we're going to find a solution. And I think that, I think the notice was until February, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we have some time to help redirect and find out something that may even be better. But I can say this, I won't speak for the other two gentlemen, but you have my support, and I'm going to do what I can do to help.
Well, I'm gonna take my curtains down because it makes it for a more comfortable area that people feel comfortable. Just some that we keep in the room and they make it not as a business deal. But we do not have enough help.
Right.
I'm the last one there.
Well, thank you for what you do.
I've been there for a long time. Everyone else is fine. When I started, the guard, the head guardian for one person from each township, but they went on board. And it has changed from then, but we like those people. We cannot even find anybody that will want to come for 2.5 hours, one day a week. No one wants to volunteer. You could do a great job if you could get some kind of advertisement. Get away from the TV and stuff in the morning. You don't need a nap every afternoon. We're not. The question of that is how much we pay. We have not done satisfaction. You could help a lot. But nobody seems to. It's always, well, yeah, I care, but you could hurt people with some help. You find out how to use it. But you can't just sit idly and say, we need to put, by the way, we have been storing all their equipment, a lot of their equipment in our office for years. Somebody said we are not in the office. And we may be visiting somewhere else. We're there. We're there. You can't, after this many years, look at somebody and not know, you got a problem. Wonder what it is. Maybe just they need someone to say hello. And they're fine. Till they go to the next place and they don't know anybody. People can talk to them. You got a problem. And just a plain old individual who's living. Forget about the fancy ones and all the signs and all that stuff. Worry about the ones that are really keeping your community stable. They're not all manufactured. Other people. And we need to pay attention. I appreciate you letting us have the room. But, that's up to you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm thankful for the chance to talk. It's, different parts of the community have things that are important to them. We've just witnessed someone who's very passionate about those who are struggling. And I would approach, ask each of you, and I know you will,
to seriously consider something. But why I'm up here is the solar part of it. And I've been at the meetings leading up to this. I haven't been here for all of it. But my name is Fred Weimer. I live at 7515 North, 400 West, Markle, Indiana. And I would have you vote a do pass. The APC has done what you asked. They've gone through the steps and the talk that's required to process the information, process what the people want, and have looked at both sides. So I know you're going to do what you need to do and process it, and I trust each of you to do your best, because that's what I've seen. So I just wanted to go on record and say Fred Weimer wants a do pass. Thank you.
It's Polly Weimer, 7515 North, 400 West, Markle, Indiana. And that's my husband. I just want to add to what he said. I heard what Jeff said, and I agree that this should be over with. I think that the process has taken too long. It's a lot of community involvement. It's probably costing a lot to have these meetings. Just all the expense needs to be done. If people want solar on their own personal properties, that's fine. Residents, barns. I also agree with any businesses that are coming in that we should accommodate them. But these large solar people coming from other countries, out of state, people that say they're providing jobs, they're not. We all know this information already. And so I would say, I mean, my husband's nicer than I am. But yes, he's for the setbacks, and that he's saying if that's what will be accepted to get this, get the companies not to want to come in because it's not economically feasible, then let's do that. But why? We're just going to be dealing with this over and over and over again 10 years from now, 20 years from now. If it's not that, it's data centers, it's all of this kind of thing. It's always going to be there. Wells County is desirable for the reasons that you see when you drive around Wells County. And solar panels in an industrial level are not pretty. People come here and spend their money here and build the nice houses and want the school district because of the way it looks and because of the good people and the boards like you that are concerned and wanting to do the right thing here. We appreciate everything that you've done, but I guess I'm a kind of hard-nosed in that I don't want to spend undue money or resources or time and energy. We want to do that with something that will make this county prosperous. So I'm for a ban on the industrial solar. It's not agricultural, it never was. And I really don't think it's economically feasible anyway. All across the country, they're talking about places closing down. And we see it all the time. And I'm sorry that you guys get bombarded with all of this, but I do, please, the public is tired. I want to retire this shirt. I really do. I want to put it in my third closet, not the main closet. So that's my opinion, and if you would consider that, if that's a possibility, I'm sure I speak for many, many of the no solar people, and we're just taking what we can get, basically, with even what's been offered in this ordinance that we think can end things, but it's not going to, I'm afraid. Thank you for your time.
This lady.
Yeah, we're gonna let her go.
I'm Michelle Bowman, 5170 East, 500 North, Craigville, Indiana. And I'm with Polly. We have been over and over and over in this. I guess my question is, we could not hear very well back there. Our question is, what are you guys wanting clarification, more clarification on in the ordinance that was presented?
They just want the ability to look at it and make a modification if there's any modifications that they desire. So
Okay.
timing of how that mechanism works.
Okay, so is that going to be back to the APC to do that, or you guys are going to do that, or who's going to be involved in any modifications? Are you?
Legal take that question?
Sure. As Mr. Lotzenheiser said, if the commissioners choose to amend or modify, we have to come up with something in writing stating what the modification or amendment is. At that point, my understanding is that it would be returned to the Area Plan Commission for them to approve or accept the revisions to the ordinance. They would pass, and then it would come back to the commissioners to pass that amended ordinance.
Okay, and so how is that going to be presented so the public, so we know what's going on?
That's a great question on notices. All meetings have to occur in public. There are regular scheduled meetings of the Area Plan Commission. There are regularly scheduled meetings of the Board of Commissioners. The agendas are posted. You can look at that.
Okay, well, I know a lot of times the agendas aren't posted very well ahead of time. You guys, the commissioners are. The APC agendas, sometimes it's really hard to get a hold of the agendas on that because they're not posted way in advance.
Yeah.
It seems like it may be a
These
day or
meetings are
two before.
streamed. I mean, the
Well-
APC's meetings aren't required to be streamed.
And-
They are doing it
And that's
anyway.
fine, but if they're streamed, if you're out there looking at it, you can't voice your opinion for what's going on.
Well, you know,
with it.
there's the
So-
first Thursday of every month, and ours is the
And-
first and third
Oh, I'm very
Mondays
well
of every
aware.
month.
We've
they
been
don't
to a lot
change.
of them. So I guess when you're talking about modification, and I know I've talked to Jeff and others about this, I'm not completely happy with what the ordinance says either, but my concern is, and I've talked to Jeff about this, prior to, is since they changed the proposed to the 20 acres, I would like to see that if a manufacturing company wants to do the 20 acres of solar, that makes sure that has to be rezoned as industrial and not agriculture anymore, because it's never going to go back to agriculture anyway.
Those are all things we need to consider.
Yeah, so that's just my.
I think the key
2 cents about
takeaway
it,
is,
so.
Mike said it, we want to do it right, not quick. Can't have both, so.
I know, this has been going on a long
We know,
time. We
trust
gotta
us,
get
we've been
some.
through the whole.
The other thing is, I know, and this kind of goes hand in hand with what's going on across the country, and Blackford County is a freaking mess right now. And I guess Wabash County is now in a possible fight with carbon capture facilities, battery operated facilities. Do we have any ordinances put in place for those other areas, like data centers, that type of thing?
None of that.
Because
none of
that's
that
gonna
stuff-
be,
But none of that stuff's gonna get built in this county unless we decide it's gonna go in
well,
anyway.
I know,
So-
but it's gonna come down to ordinances again.
Well,
Too,
it doesn't though. It
probably.
comes down to this line of defense right here.
Okay.
So I mean, how many are built right now?
Okay, well,
To your point, though, is that it is so dynamic with these things that are coming up.
Right.
We didn't, 5 years ago, nobody even knew what a data center was.
right, you're right,
So,
yeah.
I don't think there's an ordinance yet, but that's why we sent it back to the APC. We're running as fast as we can with the
Okay, so it's-
items that are in
Ordinance is
front
gonna
of us.
take place of common sense. No way.
Okay, all right, well, I just wanted to throw that out there because I know a lot of stuff's going on in surrounding counties.
Can't.
that kind of stuff, so.
Can't have an ordinance for everything, but we're trying to make it clear of what we can and can't do.
you can watch in your living room next.
Yeah, I do that kind of sort of now, anyway. We couldn't watch the Super Bowl, because we didn't have ESPN. So, all right, thank you.
Thanks.
I request, Mr. President, we don't take any more comments on solar this evening, if that's all right. I've heard enough of it.
We've been over it and over and over.
Thank
It's
you.
divided the community, we know that.
I think it was a good plan to begin with.
I think there was you had a request to speak one more time. Can we make it quick?
Can't eat glass. Yep. Very true. Thank you.
Thanks.
Holly? Lisa, commissioners, legal,
All good.
motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right.
Thank you.
You're done? Thanks.
What do we got to sign here?